Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, yeah. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of signs, smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar signs. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try and take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, double nine. Diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
And welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. We got, well, I'm DJ, that's Scotty, and on the end is CJ. And we are here to talk a little bit about, I don't know, the National Football League today. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. But we have our picks to give today. And we are joined each and every Wednesday by the man, the myth, and of course, the legend of Scotty Mincher. Scotty, how are you today, sir?
I'm good today, DJ. You know, I've done a better job of not letting the, I guess you could call it the debacle that is the Browns affect me. So I've like self-medicated.
How have you done that, Scott? The world wants to know.
I just, you know what I say, you know what, I'm a fan. I'm always going to root for my team. I want them to win. But in the end, you know, there's more, it might sound cliche, but there is some things that are more important, like being here today at YSN and just the opportunity to talk about it and have that platform. If I didn't have that, being a fan wouldn't be as special. So there's always a positive spin you could put on it.
Well, there you go, Scotty. And for the first time all year, you are officially outnumbered by Steelers fans, 2-1 here on the show. But we're not in a good place, Scott. We're not in a good place at all. So you're safe. Obviously, your Browns lost. Our Steelers tied. Don't know which one is worse at this point in the season, especially coming against the Lions. CJ, talk to me about that Steelers, whatever that was. That wasn't
debacle.
It was awful.
It was a waste of 4 hours is what it was. I'll tell you what, the problem wasn't Mason Rudolph, and a lot of people will point to him as the issue. It really wasn't. Um, the defense played well. Offensively, man, they're just so bad everywhere. There was some terrible decision making from the coaching staff. Canada, I don't know how you allow your backup quarterback to throw 50 times. I mean, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's it's mind blowing how you tie a winless team at this point in the season is it's inexcusable.
I have some concerns that Chris Sigler is still recording football games on tape. There's some major concerns about the football game, but more concerned about Chris Sigler using a VCR. I compare that Steeler game, and people have asked me this week, is that the worst Steeler game you've ever watched? The answer is no. The worst Steeler game I've ever watched was actually Super Bowl 40. Now, we won that game, but that was the worst game. like I can't even imagine what Seahawk fans had to go through in losing that football game. At least you tied. The Browns were done after the second drive of the game, says Trey. I didn't watch the Browns game. It was one of the few that I was interested in the Steelers early just to see Mason Rudolph. What do we have in him? And we quickly realized we don't have much. No. We got about a 7th round draft pick if we want to get rid of him. So if that. So good luck, Mason Rudolph, and hearing Mike Tomlin talk about this Chargers matchup, and as we'll talk about here in a moment, if we're actually planning on running him out there, the Chargers are going to eat us alive. They're going to pick us apart bone by bone, and it's not going to be good because there's no Minka Fitzpatrick. They lost a couple of their starters, as I understand as well, Bosa being one of them. But if we don't have Ben, we don't have a chance. And stop me if you've heard that before.
Well, and that's the shame of it too. Is their defense is it's not as good as we all expected it to be, but they're keeping them in games. And when you don't have an offense that can score more than 16 points, you're exposed. Playing Rudolph the other day just reminded me how desperately they have to draft a quarterback in 2022. You just can't go another season. We don't know what Ben's going to do next year. Most likely, I don't think he will be on the Steelers. He'll probably retire. But you're going to have to draft a quarterback, somebody else other than Rudolph.
Speaking of drafting quarterbacks, Scotty, you know a thing or two about that. How's your quarterback holding up at this point in the year, being a Baker Mayfield apologist?
Yeah, well, my whole Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback take, and I even thought before the year it was possible he could, it was even possible he could play like a top 5, at least be in the conversation. To put it mildly, that has not aged well at all. Looks like a horrible take right now. I think Baker is at a crossroads. You guys have talked about this division, and I'm not saying I'd say the Browns, if I'm being optimistic, and I know, it's week to week, you don't really know what you're getting with this team, or really with the AFC North, and you can say the entire NFL for that matter. I think this has been the most, these games have flip-flopped, and I think it's the most wide open season I've seen in a long, long time. So I think, there's a chance the Browns rebound, and I really do think the AFC North is up for grabs. But the problem for the Browns is that's their only shot because they have way too many losses in the AFC now to get a wild card spot. So I just want to know from you guys, it's something I've been thinking about, your honest opinion. Who's the favorite in your mind to win this division right now. I mean, the Ravens got off to a great start, but in most of their wins, aside from the Chargers game, they've gone right down to the end. Then they got flat out embarrassed by a 2-win Miami team. Um, the Steelers obviously started really bad at 1-3. Then they looked, they looked adequate up until last week, and that game was just, a total shit show. So this AFC North, I mean, I just have no clue what's going to happen the rest of the way. Would you guys consider the Ravens the favorite in your minds, or do you think because of the Steelers and that defense and the inconsistencies we've seen from the Browns, do you think the Steelers are still probably the favorites in this? What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is always going to be the Ravens at this point. I mean, they've got one of the best players in football in Lamar Jackson. If they can figure out the running game at some point, I know they just cut Lev Bell. They're hurting for a running back right now. I don't know who they're going to try out or who they're going to bring in, but if they can figure out some things offensively more than Lamar Jackson, they'll go pretty deep in the playoffs. I think they've got enough weapons to get through the AFC North. I really think the only team that can stop the Ravens is the Steelers. Maybe if the Browns outscore them in one of their two games, but we'll see. It's going to be a track meet. But
And I didn't even mention, I failed to even mention Cincy, but they got off to a really hot start, and now they have kind of come back down to earth. So
hey, Radar wrote you a letter here, Scotty. A love letter from Radar Pavlov. Hey guys, this is Radar. I got a question for all, including Scotty. If Baker continues his struggles for the rest of the year and the Browns into the offseason are looking for a QB, should they be looking into perhaps Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, Garoppolo, etc., etc.? Go ahead, Scotty. We'll let you handle this one there, big fella.
I don't really, I just don't see guys as high profile as somebody like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson coming to Cleveland. Deshaun Watson, I don't know what his future is. And Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean,
You might as well have Baker.
yeah, or if you want to, make it more insulting, is he Jared Goff?
No.
He's not that bad, but you see where I'm going with
Jared Goff was in a Super Bowl too, so I don't think we need to throw pebbles at Jared Goff.
But that's what I mean. That's my whole point. They both made a Super Bowl, but they both look. Goff was horrible this past game, but Garoppolo's been.
Well, Goff was playing the Steelers defense. If any quarterback had to play Steelers defense every week, I think they would look pretty bad.
Yeah. Although early in the Cincy sliced them up pretty good. But
we're gonna bring up that Cincy game, are we?
I mean, I'm saying don't get me wrong. The Steelers defense is very good.
Scotty, let me ask you: Is it top 10 defense?
It is a top 10 defense.
Is it?
Did you see that? Did you see that your boy Bill Cowher before the game he had the Browns? They went around and ranked their top 5 defenses in the NFL, and before the Patriots game, Cowher had the Browns in the top, ranked as a top 5 defense, and then they go out and get 45 put on them.
Yeah, are they a top 5 defense, Scotty?
Not after that performance. So that's another take. But see, that's what happens, DJ. I know YSN, we're all about homers here, and we're about being a fan. And as you told me moments ago, it's like, what's the point of being miserable all the time? But
You got it, buddy.
at times, I think I let the fan in me. It's almost like I get like a kid on Christmas. Like, no matter what, I'm going to be excited and think that the best thing is going to happen if I see good things on the surface. Like, again, on paper, going into the season, not everyone was picking the Browns to go to the Super Bowl like me, but I think most people thought the Browns would, at the very least, be a playoff team. And right now, that doesn't even look like it's going to happen. So I think a lot of people may be a little too bullish on the Browns.
Oh, you don't say.
I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but it's just like I can't I, I can't wrap my head around how you go into Cincinnati, and I know it's not Bill Belichick. I get that, but you go into Cincinnati, you completely blow the doors off them when they had a winning record, and then you faced a Patriots team, which has been a good team, but not a great team this year. They've been a good team, and you go out and they score 45 unanswered points on you. Again, I know it's Bill Belichick, but it's not Tom Brady back there at quarterback anymore. So,
Hey, Mac Jones isn't bad, and I think you guys saw that on Sunday, that he might be the next prototype and the next Sith Lord out in New England.
but the crazy thing is, DJ, I don't know if you remember this, but going prior, if you go back to the 2018, I think that was the year Baker was drafted, that NFL draft. I don't know if you remember this, but according to several sources, Bill Belichick was a really he was really high on Baker Mayfield. He thought very highly of him to the point where if he slipped to 2 or 3, he thought about trading up for him. That's what all the reports were saying. And
And Scotty, at this point, would you would you want him have slid to 2 or 3 and get traded?
uh, I'm not. I'm not ready to totally jump ship yet. Let's
All right.
see how these next few weeks play out.
All right. Well, people want the picks, so we will give them the picks starting right now. Thursday Night Football: Patriots and the Falcons. Patriots, Scotty, you're well acquainted with the Patriots right now. It's 6-4. Falcons at 4-5. This game is a 7-point favorite for the New England Patriots. Over under set at 47.5. This game being played in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Scotty, who do you take?
Well, every time I think like maybe the Falcons have something rolling and they're gonna at least put on a decent showing, they end up just getting totally embarrassed. I forget who it was who they lost to this week, but it was like 43-3. I think it was maybe Dallas. And the Patriots are clicking on all cylinders right now. So I think they're playing their best football after a couple close losses early in the year. So give me the Patriots all day here.
Patriots in 7. Okay.
Cover that.
CJ, how about you?
So the Falcons are 1-3 at home. The Patriots are 4-0 on the road. Their problems do not come when they're on the road. Somehow, some way, they lose when they're at home. So I'm going to have to go with the Patriots.
Jeff says Patriots win outright. Okay.
They're hot right now.
Now, outright is not what we're betting here. We're talking about New England and giving 7 to the Falcons. So you're taking the Patriots -7. I'm also going to take the Patriots -7. I think Mac Jones is the next big thing in the NFL. I think they found their next guy, the next wave of quarterbacks, and Mac Jones is leading the way. All right, let's get to the Sunday games. Let's go start at the 1 o'clock slot, where the Colts and the Bills doing battle. This, to me, is one of the more interesting games of the entire day. Being played at Highmark Stadium. Bills 6-3, 3-1 at home. Colts 5-5, 2-2 on the road. Buffalo is favored by 7, over under 50, which means, boys, there's going to be some points, but there's also going to be some rain and 49 degrees. So, CJ, who do you take in this game?
I'm going to go with Buffalo. Their offense is really good. That week 1 loss to the Steelers was just a fluke. Defensively, they're great. I have to go with Buffalo.
Scotty?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with there was a guy that some guy, I forget his name, but he used to be around these parts, and he called a certain quarterback Green John Elway. I don't necessarily think he's that yet, but the Bills offense, and I think losing to Jacksonville, I think that was a real wake-up call for them. And the Colts have talented players, much like the Browns, though, after a really good playoff season last year, the Colts, same thing. They've been up and down, up and down. So I got to go with the team that's been a little more consistent, and that's the Bills. So I'm taking Buffalo.
I'm going to bring you a little intrigue. I'm going to take the Colts in this one, and the reason why is the rain. I think that the better running team usually wins that battle of the trenches, and 7 points is a lot when you're talking about your best running back is the guy that also throws the ball. So outside, I like the Colts. If this was being played in Indianapolis, this is going to make very little sense to anybody, then I would take the Bills. So give me the Colts and the 7 points. The over-under at 50 kind of scares me, though. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that means that, each team essentially is scoring 25 points. And if you're in a game like that, that's not a whole lot of running. So I'll still take the Colts just to be contrarian. Let's go 1 o'clock on CBS. It'll be the Ravens and the Bears doing battle. Ravens 6-3, 2-2, coming off that tough loss on Thursday Night Football last week. The Bears 3-6, 2-2, and this one being played, of course, at Soldier Field. More rain in the forecast. Baltimore gets the 4.5-point love and a 45 point over under. So, Scotty, who you take in the Ravens and the Bears?
Oh, this is a game with rain, which means, it's probably going to be what team could run the ball better is going to come out on top in this one. If we were talking about ideal weather, no rain, I think I would lean Bears here just because it seems like every week the Ravens are playing a game that goes right down to the end. And I really think Justin Fields is coming along nicely. But because there's rain in the forecast, I don't know with the ball slippery. I don't know if he's going to look as good as he did at the end of the Steelers game and in that second half. So I like the Ravens to cover and win it outright, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears pulled the upset either.
CJ?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens as well. I think Lamar Jackson's just a difference maker. He can run the ball himself if he needs to. As much as I like the Bears' second half against the Steelers, I have to go Ravens.
Okay. I think this is two quarterbacks that obviously have the same style. I actually give the passing advantage to the Bears, but the running advantage I think will always come. I shouldn't say always because he's one injury away, but I'm going to go Lamar Jackson here, and they cover. 4.5 isn't enough for me. against Baltimore, especially on the road, Soldier Field. If you have rain, that's fine. Scotty, I think you're right. I think the running game plays into it, but I still lean on Lamar Jackson. He knows where he's going, and the defender doesn't. So I think he's going to have a big, big day. And look on Sunday during fantasy, it's for the Franchise Fantasy Sports Podcast, we'll have your up-to-date for Lamar Jackson because I guarantee he's going to be listed very high among quarterbacks that day. So I'll take the Ravens as well. The Lions and the Brownies. 0-8, 0-1. Detroit Lions and the 5-5 Cleveland Browns. Browns are 3-2 at home. The Lions are 0-4-1 on the road. This one being played at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland. Rain, 51 degrees. And you can get tickets, Scotty, as low as $55.
It looks like you said rain was in the forecast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wonder if my dad's gonna want to go up this week or not. Especially after that, if you want to call it lackluster performance last week, to put it kindly, for lack of a better term. But
did you notice something, Scott? Did you notice I didn't give you an over-under and I didn't give you a line?
You did not give me a line, but this is one of those games.
This is pick'em, buddy. This is pick'em.
It's just a game. I know there's a lot of chaos and it seems like dysfunction going on within the organization right now, but what are they going to do in the face of adversity? They faced it a couple weeks ago with all the OBJ drama. They got rid of OBJ and came out, got a convincing win.
And then
they got their butts kicked again. But I think the Lions are just bad. I mean, if the Browns,
no, they're not. Look at how they play the AFC North.
But they don't have a win, though.
They tied the Steelers, and they almost beat the Ravens. What makes you think any different? And they could go out and beat, the Browns could go out and beat the Lions by 45. But the way that they play the AFC North boggles my mind. And I don't think this is a gimme. Everybody thinks that the Browns versus Lions game, this is a gimme for the Browns. I didn't see it for the Steelers, especially after we lost Ben.
No, I don't think it's a gimme by any means, but I think it's also a game where the Browns realize, like, you don't win this game, your season is over. I mean, people could say it's already over, but in reality, you're still very much in it. Only a game and a half out of first in the North. So the season is still salvageable. I think the Browns know that, and they have to win this game, and that's why I think they will. So I've picked them all year. Why am I going to pick against them now? Give me my Browns.
CJ?
Well, he's right. With how inconsistent the AFC North has been, the Browns season is salvageable. I think they beat the Lions, although the Lions, they're not a regular 0-8-1 team. They've played pretty well for the most part against their competition. A couple of heartbreaking losses they've had, but if you're the Browns, you can't lose. You just can't.
That's my point. It's just one of those things where I think they got to realize that in that building, right? That they're the more talented team. You got to go out and you got to get a dub, man. That's all there is to it. So,
all right, I'm gonna take. Oh, it's pick'em right now, guys. I don't like that it's pick'em. Like, I wish the Browns were -7 because I would take the Browns. I've got no confidence in the Browns right now. Seeing that Lions team, they're not bad, and they're believing right now. I mean, that might as well have been a win against Pittsburgh. Yeah. You really think about it. If it's pick'em, I'm gonna take the Browns just because
The Browns really haven't given you any reason to pick them either. I mean,
No.
there's
Chubb
so much
playing?
inconsistency.
That's the only thing. Is Chubb playing?
I have not heard a recent update on.
And that's probably why this is not listed. I'm gonna take the Browns. Let's put it this way, since it's just for fun anyway. If the Browns have Chubb, I'm taking the Browns. If they don't have Chubb, I'm taking the Lions. It's that simple.
Fair.
Texans and the Titans doing battle. The Texans 1-8, 0-5 on the road. The Titans 8-2, 4-1 at home, being played in Nashville at Nissan Stadium. 61 degrees and scattered showers. Tennessee favored by 10 points. The over/under set at 44.5. CJ, who do you like here?
Yeah, the Titans. They're pretty good. I mean, they're offensively. If you look at their players, I mean, they scored 278 points. I believe that's tops in the AFC. I think it is, and just so many playmakers. Defensively, they're a little bit sketchy, but that's fine. When you're going up against the 1-8 Texans, you should win that game.
Scotty too hottie.
Yeah, I agree. I just think the Titans have too many weapons, even with Derrick Henry, arguably the best running back in the league out. Mike Vrabel's done a great job with the Titans all year. They kind of not, at least to me, it seems like they've flown under the radar a bit. I know they had a good season last year and made the playoffs, and they've had some good runs, but this year it just seemed like Derrick Henry was getting talked about, but they weren't getting talked about as much as a team, as being a threat as a team. But the Texans have been so bad that even at 10 points, 10.5, I got to go with the Titans here.
I'm with you. I've been so impressed with what the Titans have done without King Henry. And I'm man, is it fair to say that I'm kind of shading towards a Titans fan? I'd like to see them go on. Maybe they're the kings of the AFC this year. I'm not going to crown them because I still believe in the Chiefs. But I will say that the Titans are right now one of the top 3 teams in my book for teams to beat the AFC. So I'll take the Titans and give up 10 to the Texans. This one is going to be interesting. 1 p.m. on Fox. The Packers at 8-2, 4-2 on the road, taking on the 4-5 Vikings, who are 2-2 at their own facility. This one being played at US Bank Stadium. The line is Green Bay giving 2 to the Vikings. The over/under set at 49. I'll go first and just say one word: Packers. Scotty?
Yeah, I don't know. Something's up here. I realize the Vikings, just about every game they played, they've been close and they won last week. But not only do the Packers have, Aaron Rodgers and what they could do with that offense, but their defense, you break my balls, DJ, about a top 5, top 10 defense, but they look like they legit have a top-notch defense. I know Russell Wilson was coming off a sprain on his finger, but they shut him out last week, totally shut a decent Seattle offense, at least when he's out there. They shut that offense down. So, yeah, I don't get this line. I like the Pack all day.
I hope Russell Wilson continues to just sputter and sputter and sputter because I don't think he's going to be the quarterback in Seattle next year. And I know a team that would love to have a quarterback for bridge the gap for the next 3 to 5 years. And I think Mr. Wilson would fit perfectly in a place that is known for the black and gold and Primanti's Brothers sandwiches. So go ahead, Russ.
I'm puking everywhere.
Oh my gosh, Scotty! If we got Russell Wilson,
I'd I'd shit myself.
Everybody's talking about Aaron Rodgers. Nobody's talking about Russ. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right. I mean, Kevin Colbert, do your thing. Work your magic.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this Vikings-Packers game, Siege?
Well, anytime the Packers and the Vikings square off, it's always an entertaining show. I'm going Packers. Aaron Rodgers coming back. This will be his second week back, so he's a difference maker. Obviously, defensively, they're really sound. So I think they handle business against the Vikings.
Let's go to the Toilet Bowl, sponsored by American Standard, where the Dolphins take on the Jets. Records you don't want to know. So we'll just say this. Miami favored by 3. The over-under set at 44.5. CJ, does it matter?
This one's a tough one because those teams are just really bad.
Joe Flacco starting, by the way, for the Jets.
Oh, well. I got to go Dolphins. I don't like Joe Flacco, but I was going to pick the Dolphins anyways. They're just not – there's nothing interesting there.
Scotty, what say you?
Yeah, a lot of people at the beginning of the year were picking the Dolphins not to be a Super Bowl threat, but to, maybe make be a dark horse in the AFC East, maybe get a wild card. After they had a pretty decent season last year, but it just hasn't worked out that way. That being said, I really like the way, they're coming off a really big win, and that defense played inspired football. So they showed me that they haven't quit on their head coach. I think they have some good momentum coming off that big win against the Ravens. And Joe Flacco, I feel like he was past his prime like almost a decade ago. So I just can't trust the Jets.
I am going to go with Flacco and the Jets. Just because I think the Dolphins won their one game that they surprise everybody all season. That's usually against Tom Brady. It just so happened to be against Lamar Jackson last Thursday. I think they're going to feel like – what's Scotty?
I know I have a bad habit of interrupting, but I was just going to say, DJ, it's not Miami Heat. That's what always gets at least one team every year. They can't take that heat in Miami.
I don't know what it was. I think it was Thursday Night Football. I'm not a huge fan of Thursday Night Football, to be honest with you. To begin with, I like the Jets here because nobody's seen Flacco on tape in like 2 years. So let's see what JoJo can do and show that he's an elite quarterback at the ripe old age of 98.
He does have a big arm. So
yeah, he does, and he's given the Steelers fans plenty of cardiac arrests over the years. So give me Joe Flacco. My one time I get to root for the guy. So let's go Jets, Jets. 1 o'clock on Fox. Saints, Eagles. Saints 5-4. Eagles 4-6. This one, sunshine and clouds in Philadelphia, with the city of brotherly love, and it's a 1.5-point favorite. Are the Philadelphia Eagles over under at 43? What is going on with the Saints, CJ?
Well, the Saints have been pretty inconsistent for the most part. They put up a lot of points as far as their total season goes, 222. Their defense is pretty good. The interesting factoid is that the Eagles are 0-4 at home, which
that is an interesting factoid.
That's pretty tough right there if you're going to pick the Eagles, but I'm not sure on this one. I'll go the Saints.
So the way the betting goes, right, just so you know, is the home team always gets 3 points, right? Yeah. So basically what they're telling you is that the Eagles are not good enough to get that full 3 points in a pick'em game. So I, too, am going to go with the Saints in this one. Scotty?
At some point, it's got to happen. Eagles, Eagles. I'm lone wolfing it. Oh, woo!
I love it. All right, Washington surprised us all last week when they beat Tampa Bay 3-6. They're 1-3 on the road. This game being played in Charlotte against the Panthers. Cam Newton's back with a 5-5 Panthers. Looks like hang on, CMC is back. Excuse me, as well, and he looks to be back up to prime shape. Are the Panthers a team to watch out for? They're favored by 3.5. The over/under set at 43. Weather's supposed to be beautiful and 64 degrees. Scotty.
Yeah, I do. I think this is gonna be like one of those throwback games, so like 2015 for Cam Newton in the return to Carolina. I think there's gonna be warm and fuzzy feelings. I also think the Washington football team they've just been way too inconsistent for me this year. I know they beat the GOAT last week, but losing Chase Young on that defense that's a big loss. So I like the Panthers here, especially with McCaffrey back in that backfield. And I think you can still do interesting things with Cam, and he's still, adequate on some gadget plays and stuff like that. So I like the Panthers.
Siege?
Yeah, I also like the Panthers. It for Cam Newton, it just didn't work out in New England. There was really no chemistry between him and Belichick. So him coming back to Carolina, I think he's gonna have a really nice game. He's back home. For the most part, they love him there. So I'll go Carolina.
This is a homecoming for Ron Rivera, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with the Washington football team, simply because I think if anybody knows Cam Newton, it's Ron Rivera. So there may be some tendencies that Cam has. I mean, he's only been back in the system for a week and a half.
True.
I'm gonna go towards Washington. I'm gonna take the 3.5, and I'm gonna say Washington wins outright. So I'll go with the Washington football team. See, I hate it. They need a
team without a name.
They need a logo.
Before we go forward, are either one of you guys surprised that it took Cam Newton this long to be picked up by somebody?
No, he's a broken toy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of
feeling.
felt the same way. I mean, people, they say his name and how he was former MVP, but really since that game, which was a total turd by him, he hasn't been the same.
And I think that's going to be the name of the game, Scotty, with a lot of these mobile quarterbacks that we're going to see. Justin Fields, I can see being different than that. Just because he's not a run-first quarterback. He's a pass option guy and huck it, chuck it down the field and runs when he needs to. Cam was always a run-first guy. He was a linebacker playing quarterback. So I'll be interested. I'm that guy that still is waiting on that one hit that changes Lamar Jackson's career. And he's just so shifty, nobody's been able to spot him up and hit him, and he gets out of bounds, and he understands he's one hit away from being, one of the, what is it, RG3? RG3 backs him up. So I'm sure RG3's in his ear saying, "Hey, kid, go out of bounds." So I wasn't surprised that Cam Newton was not picked up. There's a lot of people that were talking about, like one of my buddies texted me about the Steelers should really look into it after Mason Rudolph. I'm like, no. We don't need some dude that dresses like the Hunger Games walking into our locker room.
It wouldn't work in Pittsburgh, especially after you come off having Antonio Brown and Lev Bell, and it just I think the Steelers they can't have that happen again.
No, and I think the Browns were in that same boat. There's a lot of people that are saying Baker Mayfield needs to go, and Case Keenum's like the most popular person on the football field will always be the backup quarterback when times are tough. That's just pure and simple the way it is. Steelers, we got that taste of Mason Rudolph last Sunday, and if anybody thinks that the franchise is in good hands with that jackwagon, you're out of your mind. Let's get to the 49ers and the Jags. I mean, is anybody taking the Jags?
No.
I mean, the over-under is at 45. The Niners are giving up 6. Scotty, you taking the Jags?
I can't. I like to. I like Urban Meyer. I saw another national championship with him. I know it was one, but it was special to me because it was the first one of the college football playoff era. And being a Buckeye fan, I always liked Meyer. And I thought the whole video thing was a little bit. People were making a little too big a deal about that, but just not nearly enough consistency. Plus, the Niners are coming off a big win. I think they're going to want to stack a couple wins together. Remember, they're just a couple years ago, they were in the Super Bowl, and Jacksonville is nowhere near Super Bowl contender right now. So I like the Niners.
All right, I'm going to take the Niners as well. I was impressed what they did against the Rams on Monday night. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Bengals, Raiders. Raiders 5-4. Bengals 5-4. Cincinnati 1-point favorite on the road in the what are they calling that? The Star Wars reference. Why don't I have this? The Death Star.
Oh.
Scotty, who
Don't
you got?
they call it?
They call it the Death Star, and I'm like,
Really?
okay.
I didn't know that.
Well, nobody lives playing football there, so.
Yeah, right.
This is a tough one. I guess I'm gonna go Cincinnati here, only because to me they have a more of a history of, even under Marvin Lewis, they never necessarily had a great team, but they had a lot of years where they had good, teams that would at least get into the playoffs. To me, the Raiders always start relatively hot, and then they always seem to fizzle out. Plus, there's been a lot that's happened within that organization, a lot of off the field drama. So I like Cincinnati here to bounce back, especially coming off a bye, too. I think they'll clean things up and get a big win on the road.
CJ, before you go, I just put a link into all of our chats here, and that link is for the Latonia esports team. They are I believe they're playing Struthers tonight. We have a whole interview with the Latonia esports team on our website, ysnlive.com. New to the network. They're streaming it on YouTube. They're playing, what's it called? Rocket League tonight.
Oh.
So they're undefeated right now, the Latonia team. So we would love for you to give them some support. If you're out there right now, click on the link. The show starts at 4:00, as I understand, the match. So make sure you give them some love. The Struthers team as well. Congratulations and forward thinking of both of those administrations for getting esports up and going. There's a lot of stuff going on in esports right now, and for Struthers and Latonia both to kind of break ground in that is great leadership and opportunities for their kids. So sorry to take away from you. Go ahead.
No, perfect. Just quick note.
Yeah.
Video games aren't going away, and they're only going to get bigger. So, incorporating that into programs, I think is great. To give kids an opportunity to interact with their classmates, to form bonds, to compete against other schools through video games. That's awesome. I didn't even think that high schools would do that, but that's cool. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying that I love it. I think it's awesome. I think, some kids can't play athletics sometimes, and this is an alternate for them. So, all right, who do we have? What is it? The Bills? Or no, I'm sorry, the Bengals and the
Bengals, Raiders. So as far as that game goes, the Raiders have had a disastrous last couple weeks. both on the field, off the field. It's been a mess over there. I can't pick them. I have to go Bengals.
I'm going to follow you. Bengals. I think that Joe Burrow, one of my favorite quarterbacks, other than, obviously Ben and Brady. I really like Joe, and I think he's on the comeback trail after that tough loss. And I say tough loss, Scotty, because it was a tough loss to your Brownies. It was an embarrassing loss. Then I think he comes out hot and throws for 3 TDs against the Raiders on the road. So, I mean, they're favored by 1, which it's pick 'em at this point. So I'll take the Bengals in that. Next one is a 425 showdown between the Cowboys and the Chefs. Cowboys 7-2 and the Chiefs 6-4. This one going to be played at Arrowhead Stadium. Just a little bit of sunshine and some clouds in this one. 55 degrees. Kansas City favored by 2.5. Over under set at 56. So there's going to be some scoring here, boys. And nobody does it better right now than Patrick Mahomes. He is on. He is back. And he is going to take this game. No questions asked. Scotty.
I have to disagree there. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys here. I think they got back on track with this last game after an embarrassing loss to the Denver Broncos when they just got flat out outplayed. It looked like they got outcoached. Dak looked rusty, but they really seem to bounce back nicely this week. And we all know the Chiefs' offense, it was only a matter of time before they were going to wake up. We all know they're great. I'm not saying they're not great. Definitely going to score points. It's going to be a high-scoring game. But I like the Dallas defense a little more than the Chiefs' defense. I think they'll get a couple more stops.
Interesting, you're talking about defense in a game that's supposed to be 56 points.
Yeah. I just feel like they'll get that one stop that they may need. And the Chiefs haven't put together back-to-back weeks in a while. So I have a funny feeling. Give me the Cowboys.
Is this Scotty praying that the Chiefs aren't turning it on just in case the Browns make it to the playoffs? Because that's what it feels like. I got to be honest.
That's what it is.
CJ, go ahead.
So for my money, the AFC still runs through the Chiefs. This will be a really fun game to watch. Both of these teams are pretty good. Dallas, I would say, has the better defense overall. But the Chiefs are hot, man. They're hot and they're playing at home. So I'll go with the Chiefs.
I think that Scotty, I think you're wrong, and I think you're betting with your heart instead of your head. And I'm interested in this next one because Cardinals and Seahawks. Cardinals 8-2, Seahawks 3-6. Scotty, go right ahead. Arizona is favored by 2.5, by the way.
Yeah, what has been going on with Kyler Murray and that whole in Arizona's COVID situation? Because I missed their game, this last game.
It's a good question. I don't know. I've not been keeping up to date on the Cardinals. I know that he was out. D-Hop was out, I think, as well. There was a whole bunch of Cardinals that were out when the Panthers took them to the woodshed on Sunday. So
yeah, well, you would think they got to be close. I would think they're probably going to return this week. So just because of that and the fact that the Seahawks defense is pretty bad. Also, Russell Wilson, you don't know how healthy he is. I'll take the Cards.
Okay, Siege.
Yeah, I'll also go with the Cardinals. I don't know. Like Scotty said, I don't know how well that finger is for Russell Wilson. So, and also the Cardinals are 5-0 on the road. So, I'll go with them.
Okay. And I will go with the Seahawks. You're gonna see me start to be a little bit of a Russell Wilson fan, and it's not because of the Seahawks. I'm gonna go with the Hawks. I think 2.5 is not enough. I think the Seahawks are gonna figure it out. So we'll see how that goes. All right, Sunday night game, 8:20. Steelers, Chargers. Steelers 5-3-1, 2-1 on the road. Chargers 5-4, 2-3 at home. This game being played at SoFi Stadium. Chargers by 5.5. That's how they have it set right now. Over under 47. Steelers don't score a whole lot. Scotty, what are you thinking on this one?
Well, both teams have COVID problems right now, and it seems to be running rampant through sports again. I think if Ben plays, this will be a tightly contested game, a one-score game. If Ben doesn't play, and I haven't gotten an update, but if he doesn't play, I think the Steelers get absolutely housed. I don't know. Because I know the Chargers have Herbert, and, I want the Browns to get back in it. I got to go with the Chargers.
CJ, go ahead.
Well, he is right, though. If Ben's back, this will be a closer game. If he's not, I have no faith in Mason Rudolph to be able to lead the Steelers on the road.
What about Dwayne Haskins?
Well, that would be interesting. I wouldn't mind them playing him. Just
see what
happens, right? See what happens. But if Ben's back, I'll take the Steelers. If he's not, I can't go Steelers.
Has Tomlin been asked about Haskins playing?
Not that I know.
I haven't heard his name.
Okay.
Here we go. Sigler just watched the tape of his 1989 Steelers. Is Bubby Brister available? Again, stop watching tape, you old man. Stop. Just stop. Haskins was on the sideline throwing lazy passes on his. Who cares? Like, come on. Throwing lazy passes. Like, what quarterback throws dimes in pregame? Other than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Like, every time you see Ben on camera, he's laughing and smiling and throwing these touch passes to Najee Harris. Like, I'm so tired of the overanalyzation of what quarterbacks do. Like, dude, if he's not the real deal, he's not the real deal. We lose like $275,000 for him. But if somebody picks him up next year, we get a first-round pick. So, come on, baby.
Yeah.
Pick him up. Pick him up. That's what we want. I'm gonna take the Steelers. 5.5 seems like a lot, but the Chargers will probably win by 30. So I hopeful pick right here. This is a Scotty pick for me right now. Last game, Giants and Bucks on Monday night. Eli is gonna be watching, obviously, with Peyton. They'll be watching the Giants, Eli's former team, and the former owner of Peyton Manning, Thomas Brady. So, guys, this one is at 11 points spread. Who do you like in this one? It favors the Buccaneers.
Well, the Bucks are at home, and they have a perfect record at home. The Giants, they're not necessarily world beaters. So I gotta go with the Bucks.
Scotty?
And Brady, he's gonna be just extra pissed. Yeah, even with the 11 points is a lot of points, but I don't see any. I think the Bucks could win this by like 30. So
yeah,
give me the Bucks.
I'm liking the Bucks as well, and I'm liking them by a lot, like 25-30, just like Scotty said. Bye week teams this week. Broncos and Rams, so you will not see those two teams playing this week. And gentlemen, you know what time it is. It is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over at DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, anything residential, and anything electrical, you go to the official electrical supplier of your sports network. You go to DickeyElectric.com. Our friends at Joe Dickey Electric. All right, let's go, rookie. What do you got for us today?
So a positive and sort of a negative. I'll do the negative last, but the positive, we're starting to get some talking about winter workouts for baseball. So that's always exciting as the football season winds down. We start thinking about winter workouts. So super excited. We'll be doing that probably maybe after Thanksgiving. So super pumped about that. Negative, this show, I had to remind myself how bad the Steelers played on Sunday. So
I like it. I like it a lot. Scooter, what do you got?
Yeah, I don't really know if there's like any other NBA fans in YSN Nation other than, like maybe me and like Quinn. But I guess I'll use this as a positive and a negative. My positive is the Cavs have a winning record right now and look like they could be at least a solid team and possibly a playoff team. They're getting hit with a lot of injuries right now, so that could derail them. But my negative is, of course, is that I never thought at this point in the year the Cavs would have a better record than the Browns, only in Cleveland. So that's my negative, man.
There you go, buddy. All right, and mine is going to be I had one and I completely blanked on it. So I'm going to just, again, say thank you and a positive spark to EPYSA, East Palestine Youth Sports Association. We got to go on Monday to the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse and cover 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th graders playing basketball at the Rock or the Q or the Gund or whatever you want to call it. It was an honor to be able to be there. It was cool to see these kids who we, YSN, have been covering since they were 5 years old and just learning how to dribble a basketball and see how they've progressed and watch them on a professional court was so cool. So we are honored to be able to cover youth sports, and we're honored to be able to cover sports all the way up to the collegiate level now and semi-pro with the Scrappers, who we just had a great sit down with on Monday as well. So we're excited. Things are going very, very well. And like a slingshot, you pull us back, we're just going to go forward 10 times further. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Scotty, as always, for dropping by on Wednesdays. We love it here. And CJ, as always, welcome back. Welcome to the official Power Hour team. We're excited to have you. For CJ, for Scotty, and for myself, DJ Yoakley, and all of us here at YSN, we say have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on the Power Hour.